to say that India has troops in Maldives is actually a lie. So this is a political slogan. It has little to do with the truth on ground. Mohamed Muizzu, who has a Salafi Muslim background, gave an interview to Qatar-owned Al Jazeera channel saying that he will remove Indian troops. Within a week, he is sworn in. That is on November 17th. This is not so easy. If there is some political implosion, whether in Sri Lanka or in Maldives, there could be a serious global upheaval in case this sea channel is affected. That is why India needs to be very careful. The entire global economy will take a toss if anything untoward happens in Maldives. And these helicopters and these Dornier and these coastal vessels are kept over there because India is the first responder and India is expected to be the first responder. It is about time that President Muizzu smells the coffee and realizes that India actually is his true ally. And rather than doing an out India campaign, he should be looking at an out China campaign.
Hi, you're watching Hindustan Times Point Blank with me, Aditi Prasad. And as always, we have the Hindustan Times Executive Editor, Shishir Gupta, with us. Today, we're going to talk about Maldives and why Maldives wants India out. The new President, Mohamed Muizzu of Maldives, who's taken oath, he's taking oath on November 17th. And he says that within a week of his taking oath, Indian troops will be out of Maldives. Many of you must be wondering, why are Indian troops in Maldives in the first place and how many troops are there? So let's start from there. Shishir, if you can tell our viewers about the Indian military presence in Maldives, why they are there, how many they are there, and from when have they been there?
Namaste. Aditi, fact is, there is not even a single Indian troop on Maldivian soil. What is there is, India has given 2 ALH helicopters and 1 Dornier aircraft for medical evacuation, surveillance, and air rescue. For all this purpose, there is a contingent of 176 persons which have been there in Maldives for some time now. Now, these people, they are under the Maldivian government. The 2 ALH helicopters or Dhruv helicopters are under MDNF flag. The Dornier does not have Indian flag. And India has given 1 trinket class coastal offshore patrol vessel, which is manned by Maldivians themselves. So to say that India has troops in Maldives is actually a lie. All these people are involved in medical evacuation and they do surveillance and air rescue. They have done at least 976 missions since 2019, out of which very few have been for air surveillance. Most of the missions are on medical evacuation, and that is for Maldivian people, not Indians. So this is a political slogan. It has little to do with the truth on ground.
Okay, so let's talk about the truth on the ground and let's talk about Mohamed Muizzu's political compulsions. Now, what's behind this? Because this was his campaign slogan also in the run up to the elections, India out. And that's sort of a huge statement to be part of your campaign. And now that he's president, it's set to become policy. What is the thought process? What is he hoping to gain out of this?
President Muizzu or President Elect Muizzu is from the Abdullah Yameen party, which essentially supported this mission of Out India. The slogan was Out India, on which he fought the elections. His mentor Yamin was pro China, after which Ibrahim Solihi came in, who tried to correct the balance and decided to take a middle path in the entire thing with focus towards a nearest neighbor, which is India. Now, Mohamed Muizzu, who has a Salafi Muslim background, gave an interview to Qatar owned Al Jazeera channel saying that he will remove Indian troops. Within a week, he is sworn in, that is on November 17th. Now, this is not so easy because whether it is the helicopters or the aircraft, they are done through a proper bilateral treaty between two nations. It is not one bright day you wake up and you decide that, okay, out with you. This is what Mohamed Muizzu is trying to do. Now, politically, it helps him because he has a Majlis election, which is sort of a Lok Sabha, like Indian Lok Sabha, in April, and he will continue this and use this political sort of gambit to get votes for his party in the Majlis election. So that is the real truth as to what is happening in Maldives right now.
What is India's policy right now with regard to what Moizu has been saying and doing? What is India doing to counter this? Because as we understand it, as I understand it, India has invested heavily in Maldives, not just in terms of billions of dollars in financial aid to Maldives, but also building infrastructure across this Indian Ocean archipelago. So what does New Delhi need to be aware of, and what is New Delhi doing to counter this?
First of all, let me explain you why Maldives is important to India and to the world. Maldives is located in what is called the 8 degree and the 9 degree channel, which is south of Lakadiv, Minico Island. This is the place through which 2/3 of global oil, 150% of bulk shipping, and nearly 1/3 of container shipping passes through. Every day, through this channel or through the sea lanes of communication, 120 ships pass through. Now, this is basically between Maldives and Sri Lanka. Now, what is going to happen is that if there is some political implosion, whether in Sri Lanka or in Maldives, there could be a serious global upheaval in case this sea channel is affected. That is why India needs to be very careful because it impacts directly on its maritime security. One must also understand that the goods that are coming through Gulf of Aden, Persian Gulf, Straits of Hormuz, 20% of the goods are only for the littoral Indian Ocean states. Rest go to extra regional like Japan, South Korea, ASEAN countries, and other places. The entire global economy will take a toss if anything untoward happens in Maldives. That is what is global interest and that is what is Indian interest. Now, when you come to India, Maldives is a place which faces very serious climate changes. In case there is a serious problem, Maldives will go down in water, literally. So where will these people come? The refugees will come to India. Second thing, Maldives' closest ally or the closest response that can be given to a humanitarian disaster, which do happen time and again in Maldives, is India. It cannot be China. So that is the other thing. And these helicopters and these Dornier and these coastal vessels are kept over there because India is the first responder and India is expected to be the first responder. Mohamed Muizzu thinks that China can help him. No, it is not the case unless it's a Chinese vassal state called Sri Lanka decides to give China a major part beyond Hambantota to help out Maldives or to take over or be dominant in the Indian Ocean.
Clearly a very, very strategic advantage for India to be doing what it is doing with Maldives. But what are the options before Muizzu? So if India is not there, so obviously he's looking at China. But as far as I recall in that interview that you said he gave to Al Jazeera, he also said that yes, it will be India out, but he's not looking at getting any other foreign troops there in the country. So how's he going to manage?
There's a political campaign based on out India, but the reality is something different. India has invested not less than $1.5 billion in Maldives, which has a population of only 500,000. India has invested through SBI in bonds and treasury bill. The first repayment of 100 million is expected towards the end of this year. President Muizzu does not have that kind of money. Second thing, you cannot walk out of a bilateral treaty just by saying, okay, I'm out of it. Well, you can do it if you're a dictator. But the point is, there are prescribed clauses within the treaty as to how you can walk, how India goes out or withdraws its helicopters, its crew, and its Dornier aircraft from Maldives. It's not so simple. It is about time that President Muizzu smells the coffee and realizes that India actually is his true ally. And rather than doing an out India campaign, he should be looking at an out China campaign.
Just one last question before you leave. You said out China campaign. Does China also have troops stationed in the Maldives?
No, China does not have troops stationed in Maldives. India does not have troops stationed in Maldives. Maldives has its own troops. The point in this is China is investing very heavily through the BRI or the Belt Road Initiative and at significant interest rates. And it will be very difficult for Maldives to pay back China because these loans come through Exim banks, China's development bank, at a very high interest rate. And Maldives does not have the economy to pay it back.
All right. Thank you so much there. Thank you for that perspective. Thank you, viewers, for watching this. Obviously, clearly, President Elect Muizzu does seem to be in a bit of a quandary right now. It is one thing to have a campaign slogan, another thing to actually play it out as policy once you're part of the governance. It is going to be a tightrope walk for him as far as his campaign slogan, India Out, is concerned. Let's see how that plays out in the days to come. Thank you so much for watching.